Have you ever looked at an aquascape and thought, wow, that's another world inside glass? Plants swaying like forests, stones standing like mountains, and fish gliding like birds in the sky. That beauty is what pulled me into aquascaping, and today I'm finally starting my own journey. Welcome to Aquarium, where I'll take you through my journey of shaping tanks into thriving worlds. The first big question was, what size tank should I start with? Like anyone else, I went straight to Google and searched for best aquarium size for beginners. And trust me, the internet had way too many options. Nano tanks, cube tanks, 60p, 75p, 90p. I went through forums, YouTube videos, countless blog posts, and everyone had a different idea of what's best. But two names kept coming up again and again: the classic 60p and the 90p. The 60p measures 60 by 30 by 36 centimeter, is compact, beginner friendly, and easy to manage. Pretty much the standard entry point into aquascaping. The 90p, on the other hand, measures 90 by 45 by 45 centimeter and gives you more depth, more space, and way more freedom to get creative. And in the end, I decided to go with the 90p. Before I could even think about buying, I had to see what was available out there in the market. So I drove about 40 kilometers to Kolathur, Chennai, probably the biggest hub for aquariums in the city. Shops everywhere, tanks stacked on streets, and almost anything you can think for fish keeping. I walked through a few stores, but nothing really matched what I had in mind. One shop had the tank of size 90 by 40 by 40 centimeter, missing that extra depth I wanted. Another had the right size, but the glass wasn't ultra clear. And in a few others, prices were sky high, especially when the cabinets didn't even come close to what I wanted. At that point, I knew I wasn't going to settle for something almost right. After visiting those shops, I realized this wasn't going to be a small spend, and I didn't want just to swipe my card on impulse. So, I opened two separate savings accounts, one for the tank and the other for the cabinet. While scrolling through Instagram, I stumbled on Alpha 4 Aquatics, owned by Ashik. His build instantly stood out: clean, precise, and exactly the kind of style I was looking for. I messaged Alpha 4 Aquatics, and the chat was super straightforward. I shared the specs: a 90 by 45 by 45 tank with ultra clear glass, and an ADA styled cabinet in dark grey with push to open locks, measuring about 90 by 45 by 95 centimeter. The price? Fair, and much better than anything I had seen locally. I confirmed the timeline and gave the go ahead, and the order was placed. Finally, the day arrived to pick up the tank. I left home in broad daylight, weaving through the traffic, and the sun started to dip. By the time I arrived, Ashik, the owner of Alpha 4 Aquatics who built the tank, and Vignesh, my friend who's been helping me throughout this aquascaping journey, had everything ready. We booked a Tata Ace through the Porter app, and together they helped me carefully load the tank and the cabinet onto the vehicle. With everything secured, we made our way back to my apartment. Once there, the porter driver helped carefully unload the tank and the cabinet. Then we moved everything to our lift and brought it up to my apartment. The next day, I cleared up the living room and made some space for the setup. We placed the cabinet and added a protective rubber mat on the top. Inside the cabinet, I mounted a smart extension board, drilled a few holes, tucked the cable neatly, and gave everything a good wipe down. Then we carefully placed the tank on the top, unwrapped the plastic, set it carefully, and took a moment to just look at it. Next, I arranged a couple of plastic trays at the bottom and started shaping the hardscape with few dragon stones. With the layout done, I added the sand to finish the base, giving it that clean and natural look. Then I filled the tank with water, introduced a few angels, discus, corridoras, and brought the whole scene to life. Finally, I connected the filter pipes, clipped on a cooling fan, added a Neo Helios light on top. And just like that, the tank was up and running.